It's Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, and welcome to the Daily Blueprint. I'm Hannah Moldavan, Deputy Communications Director for the Democrats, and your host today. Every morning, the Daily Blueprint will cut through the noise and give you the real story. What you need to know today, what Democrats are doing about it, and how you can fight back and help Democrats win. Whether you're in the trenches of Democratic politics or just want the truth, this is your go-to spot. So let's get to work. Last night, Virginia held its Democratic primary for statewide and local candidates. Later in the show, we'll have on a special guest to give you an insider's look at one of these races and how you can get involved, so stay tuned. But first, in what you need to know today, it hasn't even been a week since Senator Alex Padilla was assaulted for demanding answers at a DHS press conference. But just yesterday, New York City Controller Brad Lander was arrested while visiting immigration court. Lander didn't assault anyone, and he certainly didn't do anything that warranted his arrest. Let's watch.
This is not legal to take someone without a judicial warrant.
Please don't put him in the elevator and then claim you have the warrant.
We don't have a warrant for him.
I will let go when you show me the judicial warrant. Where is it?
So show it. Let us see it. So let us see it before you take us for warrant.
Excuse me, please stay back, stay back. No! Take it back. Take it back. Stay back. Step back. Please, step back. Step back, guys. Step back. Step back. Step back.
U.S. citizens. Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Please stay back.
Democrats across New York and the country stood together in support of Lander. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke out against the unjustified arrest, and New York Governor Kathy Hochul stood by Lander's side as he was finally released. The governor didn't mince words when it came to Lander's arrest either.
Do you want to know what I really think? Please. It's bullshit. How dare they take an elected official who's been going down there for weeks to escort people who are afraid to walk into a courthouse in the United States of America, because despite them having legal status and following the rules and making their appointments, that they don't know what's going to happen to them.
Lander's arrest is only the latest of Trump's intimidation tactics that send a stark message. If you dissent against Donald Trump and openly disagree with his government, then you are not safe in our country. While Trump continues to take pages from the authoritarian playbook, Democrats are united in fighting back against his administration. And while Trump risks dragging us into another international conflict we didn't choose, new polling at home shows that an overwhelming majority of Americans reject Trump's billionaire-first budget bill. As Americans hear more about the bill's drastic cuts to healthcare, support shrinks and opposition grows, including among Trump's own supporters. Americans do not want this bill to pass. 72% of adults say they are concerned that more people will become uninsured because of the bill's cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, including nearly half of Republicans. And 60% of Americans believe that Trump's bill will help the ultra-wealthy, while 54% believe it will hurt low-income communities. Here's the bottom line. This billionaire-first budget bill will be a disaster for working families, and the cuts to Medicaid will devastate rural hospitals. But the pressure we're putting on Republicans is working. Even Senate Republicans are wary to support the bill's Medicaid cuts. Here's Republican Senator Josh Hawley on how the bill will hurt rural hospitals.
And then on the rural hospitals, I mean, this is not at all. I've talked to our leadership constantly about this. And I was told we've got a fix on the provider tax issue. We're going to help rural hospitals. There's nothing in here for rural hospitals. In fact, what they're doing is lowering the provider tax to make it even worse. So it's like we're defunding rural hospitals.
Later that day, Dr. Oz was asked on Capitol Hill about Hawley's concerns about cuts to rural hospitals. Listen to this.
Hey, Dr. Oz, is the administration willing to consider changes to the provider tax, particularly the concerns that are being raised by people like Senator Josh Hawley, who believe that what's in the Senate bill will lead to the closure of rural hospitals?
We do not believe that addressing the provider tax effort is going to influence the ability of hospitals to stay viable. In fact,
when it comes to this bill, it's clear Republicans are in chaos. And their mess is putting people's lives at risk. In fact, a new Harvard medical school study found that Trump and Republicans' planned cuts to Medicaid could lead to more than 16,000 premature deaths each year, due to millions of Americans losing health coverage. The bill would also force more than 1 million Americans to start skipping medications and hundreds of thousands of women to miss mammograms. The provisions in this budget are extremely dangerous, and Democrats are raising the alarm. Yesterday, Senators Chris Murphy and Tim Kaine held a hearing on Trump and Republicans' betrayal of working families.
So this feels like a betrayal of our responsibility, which is why we're using these spotlight hearings to just uncover and unpack what the real world impact is on families, to take one last shot at convincing our Republican colleagues to, at the very least, make changes so that lives are spared. And let's just be honest, when you're talking about almost $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts, when you're talking about throwing upwards of 16 million people off of their health care, you are talking about life and death stakes. This isn't just about impacting the quality of someone's life. This is about ending people's lives.
And a new poll shows that the majority of Americans, including 61% of independents, say Trump is losing the battle against inflation. That's not my Democratic messaging. That's straight from the poll. Trump is losing against inflation. Which is why it's not surprising to learn that Americans cut back sharply on spending last month, with retail sales falling about 1% in May compared to April, the steepest monthly decline since January. Spending at restaurants and bars dropped by the most since early 2023, a sign that consumers are becoming more nervous about how and where to spend their money. Now, moving today to Democrats on offense. June is National Gun Violence Awareness Month, and Democrats are continuing to fight for every American's right to feel safe in their communities. We wanted to feature some of these efforts on the Daily Blueprint. First, Senator Mark Kelly, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, and South Carolina State Senators Dion Tedder and Ed Sutton held a town hall in Charleston yesterday to discuss common sense solutions to prevent violence on the 10-year anniversary of the Emanuel AME church shooting. Let's take a listen.
If this doesn't get fixed, we wind up in more situations like the one you saw here in Charleston.
Stopping gun violence takes courage. Yes. The courage to do what's right, the courage of new ideas. I've seen great courage when my life was on the line. Now is the time to come together, be responsible. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, we must never stop fighting. Fight, fight, fight. Be bold, be courageous. The nation's counting on you.
And Congresswoman Lucy McBath from Georgia, who lost her son Jordan Davis to gun violence, is interviewing members of Congress this month about the importance of gun violence prevention. Here's Congresswoman McBath speaking to Congressman Mike Thompson, who's the chairman of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force.
Thank you for leading us, always giving us direction, but encouragement, and encouraging every one of us to continue to stay a vital part of this movement.
Well, we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
As you know, it has not been an easy lift. Yeah. We've had some successes, and you mentioned the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. And what's really important to note on that is it's working. Mm-hmm. Gun violence is down since the passage of that piece of legislation. Mm-hmm. Communities are safer.
And Democratic attorneys general in 16 states sued the Trump administration last week over its decision to end a ban on firearm accessories known as force reset triggers. These enable weapons to be fired more quickly. Democratic attorneys general remain a crucial line of defense against the Trump administration across the country. And speaking of attorneys general, yesterday was primary election day in Virginia, and we officially have our Democratic nominee for attorney general. We're excited to congratulate and welcome the official Democratic candidate for Attorney General in Virginia, Jay Jones. Jay is an attorney and formerly served in the Virginia House of Delegates representing the 89th District. Jay, it's great to have you on the Daily Blueprint. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and why the office of Attorney General is so important in Virginia, especially under the Trump administration?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. It is a wonderful day here in Virginia as we've picked our Democratic ticket to go to take Virginia back and put us back on track. And look, I'm a dad. I've got 2 young boys. My son Charles is 3, and my son Zach will be 1 next month. And we're running and fighting for them. because Virginians deserve a fighter. They deserve someone who's going to protect us while our rights are under attack. And for Jason Miyares to stand idly by for these last 5 months, he's told us that he's nothing more than Donald Trump's pro bono attorney. We've got to unseat him. We've got to win. Right now, attorneys general are the front line of the fight, and you know that well. And we're seeing it play out in real time. And we got to get Virginia back in the blue column. And I'm excited to be a part of that.
And how can Democrats who might be watching today support you in your campaign? We know that November has 2 states with statewide elections, New Jersey and Virginia. So how can people at home support you?
Well, look, this is the only competitive attorneys general race in the country. It's the only flip opportunity in the country. And we're running against an incumbent who was well-funded, who has a lot of corporate and special interests behind him. And so every dollar counts. If anyone wants to go to our website, it's just my name, jjones.com. Every penny will go into beating Jason Miyares and beating back this MAGA stuff that we've got here in Virginia. I know so many people are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and this is our opportunity to put Virginia back in the blue column. We are going to get Abigail Spanberger elected as our next governor. Ghazala Hashmi will be our lieutenant governor. We're going to go beat Jason, and we're going to grow our majority in the House of Delegates. But going to our website, signing up, donating, all of it helps, and we're really, really thrilled about what we are building here in Virginia.
Jay, it's incredible. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to Democrats who are watching this. You've been an incredible state legislature. We've met each other before working in Virginia, and we're excited to turn Virginia blue again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And we're looking forward to working with everybody across the country to get Virginia back on track and get us back in the blue column.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks a lot.
Now, Jay joins Virginia Democratic governor nominee Abigail Spanberger and Lieutenant Governor nominee Ghazala Hashmi, who also won her Democratic primary last night, at the top of the ticket in Virginia following record Democratic turnout in the Commonwealth. And for the first time in years, Democrats have fielded candidates in all 100 Virginia House districts, including deep red districts. And during early voting this year, voter turnout surged, jumping by 65,000 more votes than in 2021. Congratulations to Jay and all of our Democratic nominees. We will be there to support you. And finally, and what you can do today, invite a friend to take action. After this weekend of nationwide demonstrations, voters are fired up and ready to support Democrats and fight back against the Trump administration. Reach out to people you know who attended rallies this past weekend. We're building sustained momentum to win elections and hold Republicans accountable. And we want you and your friends to join us. Go to democrats.org/takeaction. And thank you for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint. We'll be right here at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, where we'll have some special programming for the Juneteenth federal holiday. Thanks for joining us.